Date 15, March 28, 2007. A Circus City store near Richmond, Virginia. 11 people are called together on the sales floor. The manager is holding a script that the headquarters wrote for him, and he just read out loud. Word for word. You are terminated. Effective immediately. Security walks them to the parking lot. That same morning, coast to coast, the same scene. 3,400 of Circus City's most experienced salespeople fired by the same talking points by the manager. Wall Street applauded. The stock closed up that day. 19 months later, Circus City was bankrupt. And in 2026, announcement after announcement cites the same two letters, AI redundancy. For their rounds of layoffs, 139,000 laid off in tech during the first half of 2026, up 83% from 2025. I've been studying how and why great companies collapse. So here's my claim. The company firing fastest will die first. Now that's my claim. Here's how I'm gonna try to prove it. By the end of this video, you're going to learn about the corporate disease, why big companies make stupid mistakes without realizing it. And then you'll be able to predict whether your companies or your organization will thrive in adopting AI. So let's get into it. My name is Howard Yu. I teach strategy and innovation at IMD Business School in Switzerland. And I just read 4 books written from the inside of these collapses. One by the man who came to rescue Honeywell. One by Blockbuster, top franchisee. One by the son of Circus City's founder. And one by the CEO who did the opposite and saved Best Buy, to whom I also sat down with him. And he taught me some very concrete tool to bring people along, especially for AI transition.
Why they should be excited, they give them updates and so forth. So they use their mouth. That's different from using their ears.
Chapter 1. The best company in America fires itself. Now, before Circus City was a cautionary tale, it was actually a fantastic case study of innovation. This company invented the electronics superstore. From 1982 to 1997, its stock did 18.5 times better than the general market. The best 15 years run in Jim Collins' entire study he put in the book, Good to Great. It was the best-selling business book of its decades. I've taught in my class with that book too. So how does the poster child of corporate success end up firing its own sales force? By 2007, the story inside the headquarters went like this. Best Buy is beating us. Our costs are too high. And the veterans on the sales floor are the most expensive line on our balance sheet. So the company drew another line. Anyone pay well above what they called the market range was out. Not for doing the job badly, for doing it long enough to earn those steady raises in the past. The press release called it Wage Management Initiative. Now, Bobby Young had given Circus City 20 years and worked his way up to $18 an hour. The next morning, after he was fired, he was on Good Morning America. He said, "The manager wished me well, and that was it for 20 years of service." And then he said, "I have a family. I have 2 kids. I can't live off of $8 or $9 an hour." Now, the CEO who signed off on this had just been paid some $8 million for a single year. Now, let's do the math. That's roughly about 230 times Bobby Young's salary. The interesting thing is that their stock rose 35 cents. Wall Street rewarded the company's decision, at least initially. But they were not ready for what was coming. Because the customer showed up, April sales plunged. People would walk into the store and try to figure out a home theater system, and no one knows how to sell it and how to explain the product. That December, sales at the existing store fell by 11.4%. By the end of 2007, the stock price went from $19 to about $4. In November 2008, Circus City filed for bankruptcy. Within months, all of their 567 stores were gone and 34,000 people lost their jobs. Now, the easy conclusion here is that executives are idiots, but wrong. These are some of the smartest people on the planet. The firing was just the last symptom. The disease has started 17 years earlier. And I can tell you that exact year when their blindness began. Chapter 2. Stage 1. The company blinds itself. Let's go back to 1990. 17 years before that firing, Circuit City CEO launches a credit card bank, an actual in-house bank, financing the TV the store sells. And it works. Hundreds of thousands of customers carrying City Circuit plastic card. The bank literally prints money. But here is the biggest mistake the CEO made. He folds the bank's profit into the store's result. No separate lines item, one blended number. So if you ran a Circuit City store, your scoreboard had a bank hidden inside it. So you thought you were winning. For roughly a decade, people inside believed their store were beating Best Buy. But strip out the bank, then you see a complete different story. On the number that decide whether retailers is good for the future, Best Buy was actually eating Circuit City's lunch. And nobody inside Circuit City could see it. The founder's son, who ran the company himself, later put it in one line in his book. The company was fooling itself. So stage 1 of the disease, the numbers everyone keeping track of have turned into fiction. You can't fix what you cannot see. And in case you think Circuit City was just one of these weird big company, here's another one, suffering exactly the same disease of invisibility. That's Blockbuster. Now, Blockbuster sat on the largest movie rental database on Earth. Every membership card, every checked out, every late fee. But inside that system, not one report told them how the catalog was renting. Now, the catalog are those drama, comedy, action, horror movie. Now, Alan Payne, the Blockbuster most successful franchisee, asked 10 different executives how those shelves among the catalog were performing. He got 10 different answers. His words, they did not know and they did not care. May 2004, Blockbuster takes a monthly subscription pass and go national. Subscribers now can just rent as much as they like on a monthly base. So people strip the store from all the new releases from the shelf and regular customer kind of walked out empty-handed. Now the franchisee begged for more data. What are those members are actually renting? Headquarters answer them in writing, word for word. Currently, the POS, the point of sale system, does not break down this information for reporting purposes. There are no current plans to make this required investment. No plan. They decided that knowing wasn't worth paying for. But somewhere in California, Netflix was tracking what every single subscriber rented, saved, and skipped. Netflix was learning from every single click, and Blockbuster was still guessing. Is this ancient history? Not at all. A reader of mine worked at a big box retailer right now in 2026 under a brand new AI inventory system, said the shelves are empty. The product is sitting at the back, but the system would say otherwise. An instruction from the headquarters in the reader's own words. We are told to trust the AI, not our lying eyes. So here's a 30-second test. What's the number that your company steers by that you already know doesn't match with what's shown on the floor? Hold on to it because a blind company would still need to hit its revenue targets. So what it does to hit them is the stage 2 of the disease. Chapter 3. Stage 2. The quarter eats the future. 2002, Honeywell, the industrial giant, gets a new CEO. In his memoir, he described the machine he inherited. Earnings targets that finance admitted were never realistic to begin with, and quarterly meetings with one jobs only make the number look right. Using anything except selling more product regularly. Sell a business for one-off gain. Paper transactions. How bad can that get? Let's look at Louisiana. the incoming CEO pays a surprise visit to one of his chemical plants. The plant manager walks him through the facilities, takes him outside, and points at the flat, open land stretching to the horizon. The manager says, verbatim, from that memoir that the CEO wrote, "See those fields out there? Those all used to be trees, hundreds of acres worth. One time, to make the quarter, I had all those trees cut down and sold for timber." The manager spent most of that quarter managing a logging deals instead of running his plant. The sales closed, he made the number, he got an award for creativity even, and headquarters in his own telling started looking at all kinds of other plants to see if they could do the same things all over. They saw no wrong in this, so everyone went shopping for more forest to cut. One of my readers gave the stage its true name, Auto-cannibalism, wiring out its own walls to meet its quarterly energy bill, stripping out the copper wire. And remember Circuit City? Its metaphorical forest would be its own stock. Between 03 and 07, the board spent $920 million buying back its share at about $20 each, spending the company cash to push the stock price up. Total profit across roughly those 5 years is about $190 million. Now hold those two numbers next to each other. The company spent 5 times their profit propping up a share price instead of investing in their outdated information systems. Of course, every organization has its own forest, the thing that you could sell exactly only once, to make exactly one quarter and never get back. You know, a training budget, a maintenance schedule in advance, or veteran staff, people who actually have the knowledge about your company. Now, back at Blockbuster, what the company did next is stage 3 of the disease. Chapter 4, stage 3, the truth tellers go quiet. Remember that franchisee, Alan Payne, the guy who kept asking for data about the store shelf at Blockbuster? Now, his 28 stores in Texas and Alaska were, by his account, the most best performing of the entire system. Nobody even came close. For years, Payne sent detailed memos to Blockbuster CEO John Antiogo and his team. The replies in Payne's word rarely answer, and when they did, it was always limited to polite corporate speak. When he showed them that 80 million American households now owned DVD players, headquarters had a phrase ready. The customer is format agnostic, meaning customer don't care if it's a DVD or VHS cassette tape. The customer, of course, it turned out, care a lot about the differences in format because of the different machine they have in the house. Payne's verdict: I eventually stopped trying because it was a waste of my time. So where was the CEO? May 2004, Las Vegas. Blockbuster flies thousands of store managers into the desert before dawn. An orchestra is playing the theme song from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And as the sun rises over temporary stage, CEO John Antiogo rides in through the crowd on a horse. The message: a new dawn at Blockbuster. That was the same month his headquarters admits in writing that it has no plan to learn what is renting its own store. Meanwhile, the CEO is on a horse at sunrise. Now, people close to Antioco summed up those years in one line: if you want to rule the world, you've got to show up. John, unfortunately, did not show up. And Payne, his store stayed profitable till the very end. Past the end, in fact, because his last stores closed in 2018. Blockbuster, the corporation, had filed bankruptcy for 8 years by then. You know, the man headquarters wouldn't listen to actually outlived the headquarters itself. And flying home from closing his last store in Alaska, Payne called his wife from the airport sobbing. So what's the learning? It's not that these corporations with leaders who were inactive. I mean, even the CEO had a busy schedule. You know, giving speeches, cutting ribbons at store opening. But the leaders have stopped doing the one thing they were paid for, you know, thinking. And everyone reporting to these leaders had learned the lesson. Psychologists call it learned helplessness. You speak up, get ignored, and you stopped. So here's how you measure this dynamic. Count the people who used to argue in meeting and now just not. That number tells you way more than any official numbers of any engagement survey. Okay, so let's reset so I don't lose you here. Stage 1, the company goes blind. The number turned into fiction. Stage 2, the company eats its own future. Stage 3, it goes deaf. The truth tellers give up, blind, hungry, deaf. And notice that nothing here so far involves artificial intelligence, which is exactly why 2026 could be the year we see the biggest corporate fumbles in decades. Chapter 5, the permission slip. February 2026, Block, Jack Dorsey's payment company, cuts 4,000 jobs, nearly half of the company. But the stock jumps 24% in one single day. Over the past year, Salesforce cut customer support from 9,000 people to about 5,000. Salesforce CEO, in his own words, "I need less heads." WiseTech, Australia's logistics software giant, 2,000 people, nearly a third of the companies. Now, its CEO literally said, the era of manually coding and writing code as a core act of engineering is over. The tech press now keeps a running list of layoffs where the employees cited AI. So far, it only gets longer. Notice what's missing here: distress. Most of these companies are actually profitable. Some are having their best year ever. What's spreading is just a permission slip. One company say AI made its job redundant, get applauded by the market, and then every board in other companies were asking, where is ours? And so much of being cut is actually support. You know, the people who pick up the phone when a customer system stopped working. Now, these customer support is actually where the company unwritten knowledge usually resides. Now, hold that thought for a moment because I'm gonna get back to it at the end of this video. Now, here's the strangest case of it all. Cloudflare. In May 2026, it reported the best quarter of history, $640, up 34%. The same year, the same day, it cuts 1,100 people. 1 in 5 citing, you guessed it, AI. But this time, the market blinked. The stock fell 24% that day. Whatever Cloudflare does next, that reaction told you the mood was turning. In May 2026, Gartner surveyed 350 executives at billion-dollar company deploying AI. Roughly 80% had cut worker, and the cut showed no correlation with better returns. None. The layoff didn't even seem to work this time. And by mid-2026, the reversal already had a name: boomerang hiring. Consultancy Robert Half found 29% of companies rehiring for the exact roles they'd eliminated. And Gartner now predicts that by 2027, half the company that cut customer service will rename those jobs and refill them. Sound familiar? In 2007, Circuit City fired its veteran at 8:15 and invite them to reapply at a lower pay. 2026 is running exactly the same playbook, using AI as a new reason. So why does this keep failing? What could be a better alternative? I asked Hubert Joly. He ran Best Buy, 100,000 employees, through the last technological panic and went on to study AI transformation at Harvard. Now listen what happened when a shiny AI pilot meets a scared workforce.
Most of the time, at first, they actually don't work. In the initial pilots, they had 90% false positives. The risk is that frontliners and managers, because the CEO is so excited about AI, doesn't dare saying we have 90% false positive. It doesn't work. If the mood in the organization is fear of being eliminated, you're not going to get anything good.
90% false positive, and nobody dares to say it. Running live inside AI pilots in 2026. Under my essay, a reader wrote, I just got laid off from Oracle. AI, just the most recent one. So if cutting people doesn't produce the returns, what does? Answer has been sitting in plain sight since 2012. It only takes a blue shirt, the cost of a drive for 60 miles, and 3 days. Chapter 6, the man who put on the blue shirt. September 4th, 2012. Hubert Joly's first day as CEO of Best Buy. Everyone expects him to be the final undertaker. He was here to close the shop, or so most people thought, because Amazon is eating electronics retailing alive and Best Buy stock has been sinking all year, and everyone knows what an incoming CEO normally do: slash headcount, close stores, strip the company for parts to sell to third parties. Now instead, on day one, Joly skips the headquarters. He drives 60 miles north to the Best Buy's on Division Street in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Khaki pants, a blue shirt, and a name tag reads CEO in training. He stays for 3 days, walking the floor, asking questions. Day one ends at a pizzeria with the store team, and over dessert, a sales associate tells him the website search engine is broken. Then she shows him. She types Cinderella to the BestBuy.com search engine. It returns Nikon cameras. Joly writes it in his memoir. I could not believe it. Day 2, lunch with the store's general manager. Joly grabs a napkin and asks the store manager to sketch him the store floor plan. Now, turns out a fifth floor is selling DVD and CDs, which no one by then was buying anymore. But the phone, the best-selling product, was hidden in this little tiny corner, covering just 4% of the floor plan. Small appliances, like those $16 billion market, there's like one lonely blender hidden at the back. And people's morale, the employees' discount just got cut back in order to save cost. So 3 days, one floor plan drawn on the napkins, and a hidden blender, a Cinderella search, broken shown. None of it is visible from the boardroom, but all of it are free for anyone who showed up. Joly kept that napkin for strategy. 1 month later, Bloomberg Businessweek cover put a zombie in a Best Buy blue shirt. Too late, the magazine declared. Meanwhile, a rescue plan was already being built from the floor up. Joly named it Renew Blue. Now, here's what every leader with layoff spreadsheet should remember. Joly ranked layoff dead last, grew revenue first, then cut non-salary costs, maybe then benefits, and only then, as a last resort, cut your headcount. His book said flat, the turnaround worked, not in spite of our effort try to staff off workforce cut, but instead because of it. He brought back the discount for employee and fixed the search engine on BestBuy.com, and when the next holiday came, after years of decline, he wrote, "We were so thrilled because we were supposed to have died, but we survived." More than surviving, in fact, because from $11 low that winter, Best Buy stock just climbed past 100 by 2020 and is still standing today. So when we speak, I asked Joly, plenty of CEOs or leaders visit their stores and factory, but what did they get wrong?
CEOs do visit plants or hotels or stores, but if what they do is they tell the frontliners how great the company is and why they should be excited. They give them updates and so forth. So they use their mouth. That's different from using their ears.
Their mouth, not their ear. The blue shirt test. Before the spreadsheet decided anything, anybody even go to the floor first. Sounds soft, but that's the hardest data test there is, because the floor holds information that the spreadsheet or the AI simply don't. And when Joly shared my essay with his own network, he added one more line of his own, using AI as an excuse to cut the people closest to the customer is stupid. Now, some of you are already typing to your friends, have you seen a Best Buy lately? Or where is the staff? Great. And that's the point. The blue shirts test is a physical exercise. You just have to keep passing it forever. So, are you next? Chapter 7. Are you next? By the time you watch this video, there's probably another fresh round of AI layoff onto your news feed again. When I filmed this, the latest round was Microsoft, 4,800 and more. So when the next round come across your desk, ask one quick question. Did anyone go to the floor first? If you are the one who builds that spreadsheet, by the way, maybe take 3 days and a shirt. Circus City spent $920 million on buyback and 0 day on the floor. The shirt, is cheaper. And if you're the one wearing the shirt, or the headset, or the hard hat, or the hospital badge, run an audit on yourself. If an AI agent replaced you tomorrow, what is the one thing that you know that the AI system wouldn't? You know, the workaround that nobody cares to write it down. The exception you will always catch before it becomes a refund. Or the customer who is angry but when they talk to you will return back again. That's your mode. Now put that in a comment. I read every one of them, and in fact half of the best line in this video essay came from the reader from my Substack. Because after 4 books and 2 dead giants, the pattern reads one way. Circus City had the answer standing on its sales floor and fired it. Blockbuster had the answer in Alan Payne's memo and stopped replying. And the companies 2026 have the answer sitting in their own pilot data, and they are just cutting them away. The answer is always in front of us. And I really believe the winner of the AI transition really won't be those companies trying to fire the fastest. To win, you still need the ability to think, still listen, still see. Most companies will call it just transformation, cut and cut and cut all the way down until one morning somewhere it's like Circus City 815 again. So that's my claim. You've seen the evidence. Comment down below what you think. How are you? Stay future ready, 1 inch ahead.